All right, welcome back to the Journey Uncovered. Today's episode, we'll be talking to someone in the fashion industry once again. But this time around, this person includes 3D visualization to her part of the workflow. And it's amazing. I've been following this person for a couple of months, and some of her designs have been used for Hollywood actresses. Without further ado, let's welcome Natalia. So we have been calling you Jidulaly, but I don't think that's your right way to pronounce your name. So please, what's the right pronunciation of that name?
My name is pronounced Jidulaly.
Okay.
Yes, that's how it's
Jidulaly.
pronounced.
But I've also seen Natalia.
Yes.
Is Natalia part of your name?
Yes. My full name is Natalia Jidulaly Eledzine TJUS2E2.
Ooh. Is the Jidulaly an English name?
No, it's Elwes.
Oh, okay. It's only the Natalia that is an English name.
Natalia is actually Spanish.
It's actually Spanish. So are you half Spanish, half Ghanaian?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Okay. Do you mind giving us a quick personal background of who you are as a person?
As a person, I'm a child of God and a Christian. Yes. Professionally, I'm a fashion designer, a 3D artist, and I am also the founder of One Day Foundation. Yes, I had a background in physician assistantship before I pursued fashion. And so even though the two careers are unrelated, I am able to apply critical thinking to the aspects of fashion. And that's just a little about me.
Wow. So a physician assistant turned fashion designer. Okay, interesting. Now, with your name, when you present yourself to other people, do you ever face challenges when you're talking to them? Yes.
With my name,
Yes.
how to
How to pronounce your name? Yes.
not really.
Not really. So everybody easily gets it.
Yes, most people
Nice.
get it.
Nice.
It's only the Eledzine, my fashion brand name, that some people struggle to pronounce. It's spelled with D's and I. So people usually think it's Eledzine, but it's Eledzine.
So Eledzine. Nice. So when you said it's only with your fashion brand, why did you then pick that name to start the brand with?
Okay, so it's an Ewe word as well. And I wanted my brand to represent or tell stories of my heritage. And my faith is also the foundation of everything that I do. My faith in God, I mean. And so Eledzine means that the hand of God is upon her. So when I started my brand, I couldn't think of a better name than that to use.
That was very thoughtful. So how did you start fashion?
So I believe that I am answering God's call to pursue fashion, but I didn't start out as a designer. I wanted to be a doctor, and it's still a dream I still hold at heart. And I'm working towards pursuing that in the future. But as I didn't get the chance to go to medical school firsthand, I was studying physician assistantship. And I had challenges in my final year due to administrative errors of the university I was attending. And so that gave me the opportunity to try to pursue fashion at that point. And even though I graduated, I felt like those challenges just paved way for me to pursue fashion at that time of my life. And immediately I was done with my first degree, I went to fashion school as well. Yes, and then my fashion brand Eledzine was born out of that, and I've been doing that for 4 years now.
So what? That's since 2020?
2020. Yeah.
Wow. So when you say a technical or administrative problem and the difficulties that you face, do you mind sharing some of them? Because now I'm beginning to think that those activities are what needed to happen for you to actually go to the right direction. Wait, first off, what prompted a physician assistant? Because I know a lot of people who they wake up and they're like, I want to be a doctor. And so they go towards that direction. even if it's not going as well as they wanted it to, they still continue on that path.
Yeah, so I was looking for an alternative. I couldn't go to medical school directly as I wanted to. And also, physician assistantship is a course that's like in line with what I wanted to do then. So as I didn't get the chance to, I had to pursue physician assistantship so that it would put me on the right course to becoming a doctor. Yeah, so along the way, challenges came, like I said, due to administrative errors. And I almost didn't graduate because they had issues with how to put together results from exams. And it almost prevented most of us from graduating. And I thought that instead of waiting one more year for the issues to be resolved, I would use that chance to like pursue my call to also do fashion. And that's how I found myself on that path. And funny enough, I applied for fashion school thinking I would not graduate as a physician assistant. And then just after applying, things worked out. So I graduated that same year and then I continued going to fashion school. So I was doing my national service in the clinic by day and then I would go to fashion school by night. Yes. And I was doing both hand in hand, but then I wanted to focus on one thing at a time. And I pursued fashion and I wanted to take my brand up to a point before I pivot to doing medicine again. Yeah, so it's been 4 years now and I'm still on that journey.
So you started right in the middle of COVID or before COVID?
Right in the middle of COVID.
Right in the middle of COVID.
Yes.
Apo.
This video is proudly brought to you by Board House Electrical, your one-stop place for all your solar needs. Imagine doing some serious work, then your lights go off.
Charlie, ECG.
That means you have a productive day because you solely depend on ECG to produce your work. With a complete solar system from Board House Electrical, you can provide all your power needs 24/7. You know, I'm even wondering why we are wasting the power of the sun when we have a lot of it. Like a lot of it. Charlie, the sun, it a bear no. I'm not even going to talk about the increasing cost of electricity these days. Let's not even go there. Let's not go there. They said the thing has increased by 35%, but you are buying double of what you used to buy.
Contact Board House Electrical with my promo code ISVISUAL and let them take care of all your solar needs today.
All right, let's jump back into the interview.
So what were some of the challenges that you faced since you started in 2020?
So the fashion industry on its own is a very challenging industry to navigate. And so if you don't have the right information, the right resources and tools to build a fashion brand, that can be very challenging. And I would say that I didn't have that at the beginning of it. I just relied in my creative expression. But to build a solid brand, you need all forms of resources, information, and funding as well. Because you need money to make more money. And if you are trying to build a solid brand without the necessary funding, that can be very challenging as well. And building a solid team has also been a challenge in terms of people come and they say that they understand your vision, but it seems to me like everybody wants fast cash, but nobody wants to work for it. So they come, they say, okay, they understand what you're doing, but then as time passes, you see that they don't really understand and then they just walk away. And so that has been a challenge, building a solid team, not just in fashion, but I've heard my colleagues in other industries talk about the same thing. And it seems like something that needs, I don't know how to be addressed.
So
Yes.
yeah, it is a problem. I run a very small studio currently, but it's taking me like 3 years to have a solid team of 3. I'm not even seeing a team of 10. I know someone who runs a team of 15 and he's struggling every single time.
Yeah. It's not easy. So if you want to work with people, for example, as a designer, you want to work with tailors, when they come in and you explain design concepts to them, sometimes they want to just do what they know. They don't understand this whole concept, the whole design process. To them, I just want to make the outfit, take my pay, and then I'm gone. Yes, people don't understand branding and like how much every single person, like what role they have to play to like make the brand stand strong. So those are some of the challenges that I have faced, but all have been facing.
How have you been able to, well, should I use the word mitigate? How have you addressed the challenge, especially with the one with the team? Have you found a way to bypass or build a better team without, catching the people that are not the people that you love to build the issue with?
Yes, so we are still in the process. People come and they go. So you just pray for the right ones to stay.
But lessons that you take them through.
Yes, so when they come, now I am currently part of an academy that's like teaching me these resources, giving me some of this information on how to navigate, the right ways to employ people and all of that. And so now I'm putting those things in place. I didn't used to do that before. I'm putting those measures in place. So right from the get-go, they understand business. They know what they are here to do. So it makes things easier. Yes. Unlike when I didn't have that information before. I just came out of fashion school with the mindset of, okay, I'm a designer now, we are making clothes. But then now I am getting familiar with things that you can do, the business of fashion, which is also very important.
The business of fashion is actually very important because
Yeah.
I see a lot of creative people that are, very creative. Like you can see that this idea is really good, it's really nice. Now, tell them to monetize it or find a way to build a business out of it. And then everything is just watered down.
Yeah.
The sacrifices you've had to make as a business owner.
So the most recent sacrifice is, even though it's positive, is being part of the academy, because I started the academy at the point where I wanted to put out a collection. And when I was admitted, I had to put that on hold. And I've actively not been participating in projects as well because I just wanted to complete my studies at the academy. It's a 6-month course. Oh, okay. Yes. Just complete my course at the academy so I can apply knowledge from what we are studying to my business and my projects.
But have you had to put your workers on hold as well?
Yeah. Currently, there are no operations
No operations at all.
ongoing.
They are understanding enough to be like, you go ahead and do this.
Yes, because at the moment I am working with people. I'm doing project-based businesses at the moment. So once I'm done with the academy, then operations will start proper as a brand. So when they are needed for operations, they come in. When we are done, they are gone. That's how I'm working with them now until I'm done with the academy.
Okay. So jumping out of the academy, I have seen that you've merged doing 3Ds into your work. And that was the very first thing that actually attracted me to look at your page and really try and see what you're doing. Because I remember 2 years ago, I was working in a product company where we were looking at doing 3Ds for fashion designers. And it was quite cumbersome because then it meant every design you have to now take the model, take the character, do all of that. How easy has it been for you? And when did you really start looking into that direction? Because I think you are part of the very few people that are doing it in this country.
Yes. So it started with just an imaginative concept. When the year began last year, I had the imagination of I was conceptualizing animated campaigns for my collection that I was running then.
Replan the years now.
Yes. So I was like, even when I imagined it, I didn't think of 3D. I was looking at doing something that's actually like cartoon sort of. So the collection would be this lady that's not a 3D animated lady or any of the stuff I'm doing now, but just this lady. I envision her like some cartoon series, but it will be about fashion. So whilst I was imagining this, I was just asking God, what is this? What are you saying? And then I just brushed it off. So later in the year, I wanted to delve into digital fashion. I do hand sketches, but I wanted to do digital fashion, the one you actually sketch with a pen, but yes. And I signed up for a class. Somehow they kept canceling the class. So I came across a lady and she was into 3D, and I was like, okay. Now I was getting a deja vu of the imagination I had earlier in the year. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I just started learning it. And then I used it to do an animated campaign for my previous collection because I had to put the new one on hold. So whilst I had some time on my hand, I had to use that to do an animated campaign for the previous one. And I got feedback from people. They didn't know something like this existed. And fashion designers who are aware of it do not do this themselves.
Just because it's cumbersome.
Yes, it's very, very, you know how technical it can be. So that's just how I
Started off.
started out.
And has it helped you? Has it been a guiding path to putting you on a different pedestal when it comes to the fashion industry in Ghana?
Yes, it's been very helpful in a way that as an emerging brand or an emerging designer, and you sort of like have some financial restraints in our fashion design process, you have to like come up with samples before the major production. So with 3D, I'm able to like do virtual prototypes, virtual samplings. It allows me to explore fabrics in the software. For example, I was trying out some pants and I used a particular fabric and it was just a bit rigid. But then trying out different fabrics in the software made me choose the right kind of fabric to use for the pants. It draped the way I wanted it to. So it's been very, even though it takes a lot of time, it saves me so much. It's very cost effective, and sustainability is important in fashion as well, and 3D plays a role in that. So doing so many samples and then in turn tossing it prevents that as well. You can also do digital patterns, print them and make as well. And also now we preach inclusivity and diversity, and the software allows you to test out different sizes of models and even their colors as well. So I could do a white model, I could do a black model, I could test different outfits on different models to see which looks best on what complexion, and the possibilities have been endless in this.
Yes, sir. Possibilities are always endless at 3D.
Yeah.
I've seen that you've mentioned God a lot. Who is this God to you, and what role has he really played? Because it's like every single part you make sure you add God. How has God helped?
Yes. So as a Christian, my faith has been should I say, I've relied on my faith for a lot of things. Most of the decisions I make, I don't make decisions by my own will. My brand is built on the foundation of Christ. So I would say that we have a personal relationship. That is why it easily comes out of my mouth. And I've faced a lot of challenges that I believe that it was my faith that pulled me through. And so, who is God? That's my Father. That's my Father, my Creator. That's cool. He's a lot of things that if I should say, he will not end the interview. So, yes, I make sure of that. Like, I'm intentional about my faith, and it plays a role in my brand because we tell stories of faith through designs to inspire and connect people. Yeah.
With the 3D modeling and everything, has it helped you to win awards?
Awards, not yet.
Not yet.
And I think that the industry in Ghana are not yet familiar with that. And I'm also trying to explore ways to provide education on that aspect, on digital fashion, because the world is fast evolving, and it helps to merge traditional craftsmanship with technology, and it makes things much more easier. It brings innovation, and I want to be able to educate people and get them familiar with stuff like this, because when you go and you talk, for example, if I go to my community and I ask them, do they know 3D fashion? Everybody will just look at me because they don't even know something like that exists or possibilities are there like that. And I always tell people that I encounter to keep an open mind. Fashion is broad. The industry is already saturated, but I still believe that there's room for everybody to thrive. But then, in as much as we look at garment construction, I feel like people should keep an open mind to stuff like the 3D fashion, the digital illustration that involves drawing with your hand using sketches. Because 3D fashion already is a whole it's a whole industry on its own in fashion. Yes, it's a whole career on its own. People do that for a living. So you can still be in fashion, but be a 3D fashion designer or illustrator or even a fashion photographer. It's not just about garments design. So I'm hoping to provide education for people to become more abreast with information such as this.
Nice. Now, the challenges that you said you've mentioned so many times, what were some of the challenges that you faced, in exception of the cost factor or the, what is it called? The administrative issues you had in school?
That you can take to have access to certain information that I didn't have at the start when I began my journey. There are courses on even how to use some of these AI tools for your for brand building at the get-go. If you cannot afford to hire a designers, graphic designers, logo makers, and all of that, some of these AI tools can help you put your researches together, put the right words, the right text together, and also attend events, network with people. In Ghana, there's a term that they say is who you know, Ghana. So sometimes just go for events, and I have to take this advice myself as well.
Don't go out the room.
No, go for events, network with people, and there's always somebody who knows something that you don't. So don't ever feel like you know it all, you have it all figured out. Nobody has it all figured out, and don't be scared to ask for help. So ask for help, approach people who are open for mentorship and guidance on your journey, and never stop learning. You have to be a lifelong learner to be able to navigate the fashion industry.
For anyone who is growing or who has plans of growing, in growth there are risks that you will take. What are some of the risks apart from you pausing the business entirely? What are some of the risks that you've taken or that you plan to take so that your business can grow?
I've not taken any risks so far. It's just things happened a bit quickly, like back to back to back. So like I've not actually sat down to think, oh, I have to take any risk. I've just been moving, challenges come, you find a way to like
Go around the challenge.
Go around it. Something happens, you navigate it.
You see, the fashion industry is very fast paced. And so trends come and then they go. How do you ensure that your design is in vogue, as people would term? And how do you also ensure that in the next trend, it doesn't pass by? And somebody also has to feel special in that design that you've done. How do you merge all of this together?
Yes, so as a brand, I don't believe in jumping on trends. So when trends come, we are creators. My brand, we are creators. So I believe that we should be able to just have the freedom to create. Maybe when the trends come, you look for inspiration and incorporate that in your designs. But we don't rely on trends to thrive as a brand. Because like you said, they come and they go. But we believe in originality. So you are creating something that's unique, that's meaningful. Our pieces have stories behind them. You wear them. We are trying to create heirloom pieces. Because whilst I was growing up, this sustainable concept is something that we've also already been practicing. The African fashion system already practices sustainability. Just that we just need to be more intentional about it now as a brand. Because growing up, I remember that our parents had clothes that they've worn for years, they've still had them. Sometimes they are passed on to you, the child, and even you to your children. That's if they are not worn out. So I want to grow up creating heirloom pieces, meaningful pieces. And if you want to do something like that, you don't rely on trends. You look at the trends for inspiration so you can be in vogue, as you mentioned, but you don't work with trends.
You don't look for trends at all.
Yes.
Okay. Now, moving on to the future. What is the future looking like for, hold on, I think I'll get the name right. Eledzine, right?
Eledzine.
Eledzine. Hat space then. Eledzine. What's the future looking like for Eledzine?
So I envision us being an African fashion brand that's globally recognized for the meaningful stories we tell through our pieces and connects people to their heritage, inspire hope, faith, love, and all the positives, fruits of the spirit in them, and impact lives. We are not just doing clothes to, look pretty or just shine, but then we want to make sure that our fashion is for a cause. Yes, so that's what the future is looking like.
And what would you tell your younger self at the very, very beginning of starting the brand?
Starting the brand, not from years ago.
Not 4 years ago, from starting the brand.
Okay, you're on the right path. You're on the right path. Just keep going, keep praying, and keep believing. That's what I would tell my younger self.
Now, if you were given an opportunity to go to Mars and you were told, wear something from your collection, how do you think you would design that collection?
Mars. When I'm a girl, let's be like the colors. Definitely white.
Why whites?
White because I've seen people in space, how they dress. I've never been to Mars, but I just see the outfits of people who go to space, the outfits they wear, and maybe I'll take the color inspiration from that. And then I would also take some design details from the outfits that they wear as well. And there might be some signature Eledzine. We have a signature cord pattern that we actually draw in our designs. So because I want it to be, it's an Eledzine piece, I would incorporate our signature pattern into the design as well. The sleeves will be, I don't know. When you just see it, you know it's Eledzine.
I look for design like that. Oh. Now, what is that one style that you like so much, but you cannot put it out there that this is what I like?
Produced by myself.
Produced by yourself, yes. If not even produced by yourself, one particular style that you actually fancy, but you can't share that with anybody. We can't share that I fancy this style. You just keep, when you see it entirely, you're like, oh, okay. Then you just pass by.
Okay, for something I would pass by, it's not something I would even produce. Yes, it's not something I would even produce because things that we produce, we should be able to wear the stuff that we produce. So maybe produced by other people that I would not be able to wear words would be very revealing clothing. Yes.
So lingerie, yeah.
So I would not say it's even something that I fancy and I fancy. I will not be able to wear something like that.
Like that.
Yes.
So, okay. Do you mind taking us through how we got your first clients?
Okay, so my first client was straight out of fashion school. I was still in school. I wasn't actually done with fashion school. And I had this doctor friend who was going to get married. She contracted me to make outfits for her bridesmaids, 10 of them at that period. So, yeah, that they were
Meaning like,
I felt so I felt like, wow, somebody believed in me and gave me the chance when I was barely done. And it motivated me to finish hard and do more.
do more. But prior to that, did you ever have the experience that people didn't believe? Did you put yourself out there and somebody told you, nah, I don't think I can do it?
Not whilst I was in school. It was after. It was after. I got my first clients whilst I was still in school. I wasn't done and I could construct clothes, but I wasn't done with the course before I did that. So from that wedding, I started getting attention to my brand before I completed fashion school. And then after I was done, people view fashion designers as tailors. The mindsets they have is, especially for people in our setting, they look at you as somebody that you probably didn't make it through to school and then, or probably you finished high school and you couldn't go to university, so you had to go and learn how to sew. Up till now, people don't really understand the whole concept of fashion design. You are still perceived as a seamstress, a local seamstress, by the way. So I've actually had people say that that's just like a domestic job. It's not really, what is this? What are you doing? A career? Yes, they don't view it as a career. This is just a domestic job for people that have, excuse me to say, they have failed and they had nothing to do. And I hope that we change that narrative.
Okay. So then, us having you here, in like very few words, tell us what fashion design is about.
In very few words,
If you want, you can even take like 1 minute. But tell us, with you trying to change the narrative, tell me, because I also want to understand what fashion design is about.
okay, so for me, fashion is more than just clothing. It's about creative expression and making impact. That is why we've decided to tell stories through our clothing. For some of us, we believe in being evangelists, but then we literally don't have the platform, or we are not standing in church to preach, but that's sort of also like your ministry. So people need to have the mindset that whatever God has blessed you with can be used as a tool for change. And in my case, it's fashion. So you are not just making clothes, but you are making clothes that are meaningful. And through your brand, you can impact the lives of others as well. If we begin to view it that way, more than just the economic aspect of it, how much money you can make out of it. Because, like I said, they feel like it's domestic, you're not actually making money, and they don't see your vision until you start making changes, or they start to see. Probably somebody will watch this interview from my hometown, be like, okay, she's just sewing and she's here. Like when I did an outfit for someone in Hollywood. Now um I've given people or young ladies from my community the chance to dream and believe that they can achieve certain things, and they can go beyond just sitting behind the machine and making things happen. So fashion is more than just clothes for me.
It's more than just clothes.
Yeah.
It's an industry.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we were about to wrap up, but you mentioned the Hollywood. How did you make the outfit for someone in Hollywood?
Yes. So that outfit was done whilst I was also in school as well.
Hey, then they're in school. Was it a medical school or was it fashion?
Fashion design school. So whilst we were in school, we were told that we would have a mini fashion show. So whatever we were taught at that time, we should just make clothes from the knowledge we've acquired then. And each of us were to do 3 outfits. And that outfit was one of the 3 that I did for the mini show. When we were done with the show, I just packed them somewhere because I heard some of my colleagues make comments about the piece. Like, what kind of design is this? Where can somebody wear this to? So I remember just packing it somewhere and then focusing on the final show for graduation. And whilst we were done with the graduation, 3 months later, I remember that before packing it away, I actually did a photo shoot with it and posted it on my page. And 3 months right after fashion school, a stylist sees the picture and then they come on my DM on Instagram asking me if it was available and they would need it for someone. So I had to quickly recreate, revamp, do what I need to do, and then send it to them. And she liked it and she wore it. So that's the backstory.
Wow, the stone thrown to the corner becomes the chief cornerstone, Ampa. And the hand of God is truly on you. That's very interesting. That's very interesting and very motivating. So all in all, were you ever worried when the people were passing those comments about, how can you who wear this?
Yeah, I remember speaking to my cousin about it. And I told my cousin that I envisioned myself being in international fashion magazines. It was like a dream. I listed so many magazines that I wanted to be in. And by the grace of God, I've actually my designs were featured in some of these magazines. But their comments worried me, which made me tell my cousin this. And so because I wanted to be in such magazines, that's why I create certain kind of styles. But it was sad for them to not understand. And I was actually worried. That's why I put them aside. Because they said, who will wear this? Where can you wear it to? And I also had the vision. So sometimes I feel like we shouldn't listen to people because people can easily just bring down your vision or your dreams from 100 to 0. Because it bothered me, which was why I packed the designs. And although that did not prevent me from dreaming, it still had an effect on me.
It watered it down a little.
Yes.
What if you had done a little bit more of those designs in that time and put it out a little bit more? Maybe it would have.
Yes. I think it would have done that because I drew the attention of a lot more stylists in Hollywood. People reached out to me, people connected with me, and I felt like if I had more pieces, then it would have been easy for them to pull more. And I was also just fresh out of fashion school, so I would say that I was a bit naive. I didn't know how to leverage on that um, publicity that I got to scale up. And I'm just glad that I've learned all of those lessons now, and I'm ready to be able to navigate the next thing that comes.
That maybe it would have come if it came later or when you hadn't learned it.
Yeah.
By that time they would have been more dangerous.
Yeah.
But yes, I really think your story is quite unique, because in 4 years, what you have been able to do, it will take a number of people some time to do it. And I don't know if you're still doing those wild designs, because I saw some of the designs that um the Hollywood actress actually wore. And it really stood out. It stood out as one of those, red carpets events.
Yeah. She actually wore 2 gowns from me. So one was for Hollywood Screen Actors Guild Awards. So she was in this category of I think for the best performing actress in comedy or something like that, with most of the familiar faces that we know in Hollywood. So everybody wore designs from Louis Vuitton and like the top brands. And then she was also in my design. So it was like a full circle moment for me. Then after that, he reaches out to me again and he says, "Is this also available?" Then they pull a second one again for the Variety magazine cover. So it was at that point I was like, oh my God. Yes, the things I dreamed of are actually happening. And when I got the chance to travel to the States for Fashion Week, I bought the magazine and I saw that this, like, I'm actually seeing the actual magazine. And that was when it was actually hitting me. I think that was a year after or 2 years after, before I was able to get hold of the magazine. Everything was done online. COVID was not really over then. So yeah, those are some of the full circle moments in my career.
You've really enjoyed. Wow. Now, would you say that the physician assistantship was a waste of your time?
I don't think it was a waste of my time. I just believe that I was at the right place at the right time.
Even in the midst of all that confusion that happened.
Yes, where I needed to be was where I was. And whatever lessons that I needed to learn, I learned them, because up until that point, I've never actually gone through things as difficult as the challenges I've been able to navigate when I was doing that course. Because my dad also passed on along the way, right before my final year. And then the errors from my school that were pointing to me not graduating and, taking exams and all of those things, and being at crossroads, should I now pursue fashion or should I wait another year? So now then I didn't know this, but now I'm at the point where I believe that everything happened for me to be able to be here.
Be where you are.
Right now.
Everything is in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. But you would never know until you get there.
Till you get there. So to some of us who are impatient, you just tell us to keep calm. If you believe in God, keep calm.
I think I'm also impatient because in the midst of adversity, it's not easy to always keep up a positive attitude. You always feel like life is happening to you instead of for you. So we would rather pray for the strength and the grace to be able to go through them. And now you can now come to the place where you can say, okay, now I see why this happened. Yes, so I would advise both of us to keep up the faith and be patient and always trust that you are at the right place at the right time, even if it doesn't feel like it.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I really like the fact that you place God at the center of everything that you do and you plan to do it. It's hard to find a lot of people who do that these days. And I'd say well done for that. Really, well done. Now,
Thank you.
I don't know where I would see you next or where I would follow your page up to, but I hope to see you in higher places.
Amen.
And I'd love to see more of those wild designs. I really like the one in the green dress. I'll put the picture up there. It was really nice. When I saw it, I was like, is this somebody from Ghana who did that? I'm like, oh. But yeah, you've done so well, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you.
So that will be the end for episode 2 on the Journey Uncovered with Natalia.
Thank you for having me.
Natalia, please sign us. So you will sign us out today. So tell my audience something about the Journey Uncovered since you've been here.
Ish.
The sports.
Please, no, just do your wrap up.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. We'll have a lot more people like Natalia who are keeping the faith up. And please, in everything that you find doing, do it well, because that is your ministry. And so make sure that as you do it unto those people so that they will love it so much and ask you, who is your maker? Thank you.